Season 4 of My Hero Academia is one of my favorites for reasons I have previously stated. It is also home to one of my favorite arcs, and it's actually the arc that was ongoing when I first caught up with the manga, the Cultural Festival. I'm a huge fan of Mother's Basement. Jeff is a lot of the inspiration for the video essay analysis thing that I like doing here. In particular, I like his What's in an OP series. He didn't do one for either of Season 4's OPs, which is totally understandable. The first one, well, it has some super cool shots and a song that makes me... It didn't really have any imagery that was particularly creative or unique or really said anything, but the second OP, every little detail about it had me bursting with excitement. And if the anime Pope isn't gonna point out why, then I will. Starmaker by Boom is an energetic pop rock song that never fails to put a smile on my face. It's utterly infectious with the joy it radiates all on its own, but double it with the bright and colorful visuals creates an unforgettable experience. We open with quick flashes of Class A holding one character of the title before it's all put together, and on the actual title we see Gentle Criminal and La Brava prancing around in silhouette. I kind of wish they had more of a presence in the opening, but that's just because I love them a whole lot. Anyway, the character shots of Class A are so well done with how it captures their personalities. Some of my favorites are Ashido and Kaminari together, Bakugo and Kirishima being bros with no homos, Tokoyami glancing back at the camera, and Todoroki and Kyoka being angsty, together but separate. And of course, the sweetest baby boy in the whole wide world. After some little firework things around the title card, we have brief cuts of a certain little girl, and I really like how they didn't actually show anything that would identify who this character is unless you already know what's going to happen. Like, manga readers knew that this was Eri because we've seen her in this outfit, but keeping the focus off of Eri directly is significant in its own way in how it sort of subtly creates this sense of building up and excitement and just excitement. Also, her throwing off the ugly cat sweater Aizawa bought for her is so funny, and we will get back to that later. But for now, the sweater freezes on frame as the scene switches. The whole opening has this cool little thing where when the shot changes, some object from the previous shot sticks around and is colored filled, and that's where the credits go. From the sweater, to the festival tents, to the wood Sarah was carrying, the trees around UA dorms, to Jiro's notebooks, to her teacup, it's all super cool and it's kind of fun to connect the shapes to each shot. Anyway, we see Class A getting ready for their performance, going from one group to another as they all pitch in. From Kaminari, no doubt showing off his guitar skills, to Shoujo and Ojiro building sets. Then we go to Jiro alone, as this whole arc is kind of where she starts to shine for the first time. She's always had a kind of subtle shyness to her. Obviously, she's a tough punk rock kind of gal, but when it comes to showing off, she tends to stay in a supporting role. So seeing her struggling to write a song for her class after they've all placed their hopes on her is a really cool way to show off how she's putting herself out there. And I also really like how when the camera moves to her notebook, the tea in the cup swirls around a bit, in motion with the camera. And fun fact, the outfit Jiro is wearing here is actually the introduction outfit she was drawn in with Horikoshi's little character introduction extra things, which you should always find because they're fun and really cool. From there, we cut to Todoroki and Bakugo being sad because they're exceptionally talented, but they're lamenting their failure in the provisional license exam. Bakugo's shot is one that's especially interesting. One, because the shape of the clouds from Todoroki's shot kind of looks like tree leaves here, which is funny because the cultural festival takes place in, I think, spring or summer, and those look like fall leaves, not the point. Oh god, I'm going off script. Two, he's specifically shown walking alone among faceless silhouettes before looking up at the camera with a grim expression. He's angry, yeah, but there's also something potently sad about it. He's upset. He's upset because he knows he's not only failed the provisional license exam, but he's failed as a person, as a hero, and as a friend. Then we have these shots with Deku and Dagobah Beach, and they're so well animated, and I really like them a whole lot. Looking at his scarred hand, then moving forward with a smile, Oh man, look at the detail on the shoes and the shapes and then the focus on the scar when walking. Like, oh man, good shot. Anyway, the music is building up, then a flash of inspiration for Jiro, and we are off as Jiro runs with her guitar on her back. Also, I wasn't really sure where else to put this, but the entire opening is full of just such bright colors in every little bit, and there are textures everywhere that kind of make it feel like the shading from an old comic book. Then we see Bakugo, then Endeavor, then Todoroki. These three are all tied to each other in one way or another. Todoroki and Endeavor are kind of obvious because they're father and son, but Bakugo is clustered in here not only because he and Todoroki are in the remedial classes together, but because Bakugo is both compared implicitly and explicitly throughout the series to Endeavor. Not to mention, this is where both characters really start to make an effort to change. Funny transition bit with All Might and Deku, and just, when I first saw this, I knew I had to go frame by frame. And I was not disappointed in the slightest. I love this so much. Then we cut back to the previous trio, all of them seemingly making a choice. Bakugo is moving forward. Todoroki still has a lot to think about, and Endeavor makes a stand as the new number one. Now this shot makes me sad as we see a now powerless Muriel looking up as he smiles, Night Eye's glasses falling from the sky. From there, the glasses shape sticks to the screen for my favorite sequence of the OP. Deku runs and throws a stick in the air. Asui puts an apple on it. Sato throws out a bag of sugar that Bakugo melts. Uraraka splashes the apple in the syrup. Todoroki freezes it. Kirishima breaks it, and it falls back into Deku's hands, presenting it to Eri. There's a lot to love here. Firstly, the beautiful animation that once again shows off the fun and energetic vibes this entire part of the story has. And it's one that's very much needed after the first major death of the series. Every frame has the characters moving with such energy in time with the music. Going frame by frame on actual anime is so good and something I really need to learn from because this and this have nothing in between them. It looks so good in motion, and this is just a little ramble of something I need to remember in my own animations. Anyway, it sort of represents how all of Class A work together to not only provide a show for all of UA, but it also shows their efforts to make one little girl smile. Also, Todoroki being a pretty boy with his long eyelashes and casually walking off, I love him so much. Tying up loose ends with showing off Hawks and Endeavor as they kind of act as the finale of this whole story. Then we see the kids from the remedial class with Mike and Gang Orca, and interestingly Principal Nezu, even though he was never actually there with the kids, but hey man, he's a stuffed animal. The kids want to play with him. Then there's All Might in a continuation from that gag transition from earlier. He smiles, blood on the side of his mouth from coughing it up earlier. Still, he looks forward as the wind blows. All Might is done as a hero, and this is a new era for the country and for the world. But he watches as new generations of heroes step forward to take his place, not as a symbol of peace, but symbols of peace. But before that, we see Aizawa lamenting the denial of his ugly cat sweater for his brand new daughter. All of Class A walking together on stage, ready to put on a show. For the last guitar riff, Jiro is shown off once again. We even see flecks of sweat flying off as she moves, putting everything into this performance. I like the close-ups that we see of her strumming her guitar at the end, getting ready to jump, and then cut to the end card with all of Class A exploding out of a burst of smoke, everyone holding an instrument. And actually, the more I look at this, the more I love it. Ida very aggressively playing the ocarina and Shoji with like 12 different triangles. Todoroki isn't even making an effort to play his instrument. This dude has his hand in his pocket. And Koda with a ukulele! Ukulele buddies! Mina is also cute as heck with the cymbals, and how could I forget Bakugo with the harmonica strapped around his neck? Also, Sero and his tape making the My Hero Academia thing. Oh, that's so good. I love this opening. I love this arc. It's so good, and this opening captures everything about it that I love. The healing, the excitement, the drama, everything! So, think of this as kind of like a part 2 to that one Pokemon anime music video analysis thing that I did a while ago. This is basically just an excuse for me to, like, talk about this, which is everything that I do. Anyway.
Bye!
Oh heck, hey, thanks for watching. You should like, comment, and subscribe. That's what you do. And also, support me on Patreon, because I'm trying to figure that out. Hey, see ya!